Yo, what's good? What's good? It's Stormy B-Man, and I am back. Welcoming you to the post-fight show with Stormy B-Man for this Saturday, November 5th, 2022. And this is the post-fight show for Bivol versus Ramirez, the WBA Light Heavyweight Championship, which was broadcast today from Abu Dhabi and on Dazn network app. Man, let me say I am torn. Equal parts joyful, equal parts disappointed. And overall, the joy stems from when boxing gets it right and have quality competitive matches where you get to separate the wheat from the chaff, huh? Yeah. And you get a chance to see who pretends and who's for real, huh? That's what happens when you pit the best against the best. And there's simply no denying that fact, and that those who are in control to make the fights happen, along with those who would be the participants in the fights taking place, know this as well. So those who may have signs of reservation, not looking forward to put themselves out there for the opportunity to be the best, there's hesitancy. There's a reason that the matches aren't being made. So when that does happen, you see what you saw this evening, huh? Throughout the card, there were upsets. There were fights that went the way they should go by judges' decisions. There were disappointing performances. And then there was the breakout performance. So let me say salute to all the fighters that came out today on today's card to entertain us. I want to say that first and foremost. I enjoyed the entire show. Man, it was a long show. Salute to our brother KQKC, who broadcast and televised fight calls for nearly 8 hours, man. Yeah. So salute to the singing OG. Get some rest, get some fluids in you, and get your energy back, because we got a little more coming up in a little bit, KQ. But let's begin, people, with the fight that just finished up. Dimitri Bivol versus Zurdo Ramirez. If you guys haven't heard, you better pay attention and wake up, because Dimitri Bivol put on a performance today that certified his victory over Canelo Alvarez was no fluke. No fluke. Jimmy Cliff had a song, "The Harder They Come." Yeah. See, some of y'all young people, you may not know about that. The harder they come, the harder they fall. That's what I know. Yeah. Now, Bivol's performance was indicative of a man who has begun to believe. If you guys are a fan of movies like I am, you know Stormy loves his movies. The Matrix. Morpheus was teaching Neo about the Matrix, about the one and what it means to be the one. And there was a very interesting moment when he told Neo, after being queried by Neo saying, "What are you trying to tell me? I can dodge bullets?" And Morpheus said, "No, Neo. What I'm trying to tell you is, when you're ready, you won't have to." Dimitri Bivol is ready, people. He's ready. And he's ready for Artur Beterbiev now. He may not have been ready for Artur Beterbiev maybe 3 fights ago. But the victory over Canelo Alvarez assisted in his confidence and assisted in he learning what it means to be a winner. It's a different thing when you've been handed titles, because remember, everybody got a belt around their waist now. I'm wearing a belt right now. It don't say one of the sanctioning bodies, but you get my drift. Huh? See, he defeated Joe Smith Jr. a little while back. Joe Smith Jr. became a champion. But when he defeated Canelo, there was a lesson there for him, that he belonged. He can see it. Now he can believe it because he's achieved it. What was Zurdo going to do to him that Canelo didn't try, Joe Smith Jr. didn't try, and several others? Early in the fight, he took the play away from Zurdo by establishing ring generalship and controlling and dictating the tempo of the fight. Zurdo fights like a typical bully, even more so than Canelo, but Canelo has those elements in him as well, but he usually exercises it when he's in against lesser accomplished opponents. No one that's on the level that he may be familiar with. So they look at him as the star, the man. They look up to him. They revere him. When you go into a fight like that and you're so complimentary of the other person, you may not be able to put yourself in a position to be victorious simply because you've given them so much that there's nothing left for you. Yeah. So when we saw this performance this evening, there was a message being delivered immediately. Do you guys know what that message was? From Dimitri Bivol to Ramirez? I'm the boss. This is my show. And he fought like it every single round. Zurdo was able to pull out a couple of rounds in this fight, but not very many. My scorecard gave him 2. There's a possible third round that he could have been given, but he was in no means in position to win this fight on the scorecards. He would have needed a knockout to get a draw. That's how well Dimitri Bivol performed tonight. And people, let me tell you this about an orthodox fighter that takes on a southpaw. Dimitri Bivol showed you how to take care of a southpaw. The most prominent punch of the night was his sneaky, very quick and sharp left hook over Ramirez's right jab. It was a shot he couldn't see. A lot of fighters are afraid to throw that shot. But I have always maintained that's a very important punch against a southpaw, because they're not looking for that one. They're looking for your right hand. And if you look at how Bivol positioned himself, kept his feet either just outside of Ramirez's front right foot or on top of it, almost to the degree the ref had to say something to him about it once. Ramirez was not able to take flight. He kept him grounded. Kept him on the back foot. For those of you who like to speak about that kind of thing, the back foot. I don't like to talk about it like that. But he kept him in a retreat mode because he was worried about incoming, not the outgoing. Bivol fought at such caliber in this fight that we didn't know about that particular element of him as a fighter. Yes, he's been successful. Yes, he's been winning. But what he showed me tonight is something that is in the potential great fighters. The ability to adjust and the ability to rise to the occasion. That's significant. Rising to the occasion, because you never know until you're challenged. Having your way against guys on paper that you should handle quite easily doesn't define a damn thing. it's either the threat or the actual onset of trial, of difficulty, that assists with someone recognizing where the balls hang. And he showed that tonight. I'll pose a question to you. This is not a question for the poll, but it's just, I want to hear the responses in the chat. And salute to everybody that's out there. A lot of the family in the chat, familiar names, regulars. I am cooking, so that's why I haven't called you guys out, but I see everyone. Salute to you and thank you for being here. My question is, with 12 rounds to work with and going into the championship rounds, and let me correct KQ. He said when the 10th round came around, we're in the championship rounds. No, brother, the championship rounds in modern day fights are 11 and 12. Those are because everything under 11 and 12 is non-championship. Round on boxing, there's no poll. I'm posing a question to the chat, and I want you guys to respond in the chat for conversation's sake. Seeing that you had 12 rounds and going into the 10th, it pretty much looked like Ramirez was going to need a knockout. Now, early in the fight, Gilberto's corner said something to him possibly around round 3 or 4, maybe round 4. In between corners, in between the rounds, the guy says to him, "You got him. You're going to take his heart away." I laughed at that. I was like, whoa, he has totally got this man misread. More conversation for that at another time. How about, why didn't he go for a knockout? Why didn't he get reckless and go for broke? Why didn't he lay it all out to become a world champion at light heavyweight? I would like to hear your responses. Please write them in the chat. I know why he didn't do it, but I would like to hear your responses, because that is going to be able to help separate your real evaluation of what you're looking at and what is perceived. Yeah. Let's talk about it. You guys have no idea of the performance that you witnessed from Wba Bivol tonight. And there wasn't a shoulder roll throughout the performance. How about that? I take notes when I score the fights. And one of my notes that I took down after watching like the first 3 rounds, I wrote it on my notepad here in large letters. Hands up. Hands up. You didn't see Wba Bivol's hands down around his waist. Maybe later in the fight when he felt real loose and good about what he was doing and the fight had become his show totally, he did gamble a little bit doing that at some moments. But for the most part, 90% of the time, 85% of the time, those hands were up in a place to defend, block, parry, ward off, and punch. But I still haven't seen one comment yet in the chat about why didn't Gilberto go for the knockout in the championship rounds. Why do you think? See, his corner needs to go back to school as well. The corner needs to go back to school as well. They had it pegged wrong. No, Jose Diaz, he was not out of gas. He could have fought 15 rounds at the pace he was going. He was mentally shot. That's right, Rojai. He was discouraged. And what did you think? Discouraged. Gilberto. What discouraged him? See, Bivol gave us layers tonight. And this is not a Bivol, worship situation. It's an acknowledgement because it helps clarify things. Some of these brothers out here in the sport could learn something from this page here. Salute to Mr. Mont out there becoming a member of the channel. We appreciate you joining the Stormy B-Man family, Mr. Mont. Welcome. Rojai, that's partially correct. Combat tool bag, that's 100% correct. The combos. Dimitri Bivol threw he threw punches in sets. Sets of 3, 4, sometimes 5, 6. And there was a tremendous moment in the 9th round where he unleashed a fuselage of punches against Zerto that had Zerto bobbing and weaving, and he was turning him in a circle. I was like, look at this brother fight. Gilberto Ramirez may as well have been a mannequin in there tonight. So for those that worship that style of just being an aggressor and going after someone, hunting them down, you better have something else that you could add to that. Because when you're in there with a complete fighter that knows how to take that strength away from you, remember I talked about adjusting to the adjustments. Gilberto had, as early as the middle round, 6th round, 7th round, he had a look on his face that I've never seen him have before. He looked like a guy who had been punked. Like, I'm in the wrong movie. They told me I was the star, but I'm an extra. Yeah. That's what it looked like. And Bivol was Brad Pitt, huh? Yeah. It was a situation where he could have been coached up to perform better, but because they believe their own hype and press clippings, that's what you got. That performance there. He may get knocked out in his next fight if they don't pick a real soft touch for him, because anybody that stands up against him now, he's going to pee his pants. because it's all bullshit. Salute to William, old school ardent out there in that super chat saying salute Stormy B man, peace. Peace to you, William. Appreciate your super chat. Excuse me, I'm tongue tied. Yeah. See, when you find out that the guy can't really fly, it was wires, tricks, camera angles, and all of that, it's not as exciting anymore, is it? That's why when you could go online and see how they made Iron Man and, you know, Superman fly and all of that. That's why I don't like to watch all of the special feature stuff that show that stuff. I want to be entertained when I'm sitting there watching like, wow, look at that. Isn't that mesmerizing? But some of y'all want to know everything. Batteries not included. It was a tremendous performance because a lot of the fighters today are not performing up to the level that you could appreciate because they're not fighting the opponents that they need to fight to bring out certain qualities. That's a fact. A big fact. You have to understand, that's how it works. You need a lot of heat to forge steel and shape it and mend it and meld it into what you want it to become. Without that heat, you're just kind of fiddling with clay. Fiddling with clay. That's why a lot of the fighters out here are pretend champions. You can have all the knockouts in the world. Rojai, great comment. 44-0, and this was his first test. 30 knockouts. I bet he'd trade all of those 30 knockouts for tonight's victory. What do you think? Yeah. "30 knockouts. But in the most important fight of his career, he could barely win a round. Yeah. Now, a win like this, back to back over the top Mexican fighters that everyone said were going to be his Achilles. And the victory over Canelo made him believe, like I said, when I used the Matrix analogy with Morpheus and Neo. Salute to Matt 2377 out there in that super chat. He says same result versus Bitter Beef. That's where I was going. The mere fact that he's had these type of victories can embolden him to believe in what he's best at to counter what Bitter Beef does. Now, Bitter Beef knocks people out. What's going to happen when he can't knock a guy out? Can he win a decision still? Does he need to rely on putting the guy on the canvas or something? Or will he be able to put rounds in the bank and provide separation between he and the opponent that he can't knock out? You see? And everyone knows it's not like Arthur has the type of knockout punch that he hit you one time and you out cold, but he's heavy-handed and he can wear you the hell out. Bivol doesn't get hit a lot. Not a lot. And he appears to be in some pretty damn good condition. And he has fast hands and punches in combination. Something that you've heard me speak about on this channel many a time. You got to put the shots together. And it's not just jab, right hand, left hook, jab, right hand, left hook. There was a moment in this fight. It could have been the 10th round after that great 9th round where Bivol slipped a right hook by Gilberto. He slipped that hook and threw a right uppercut and came over the top with a left hook and then came back with 2 right hands. Even one of the commentators on Dazn was like, wow, that was a great sequence there. This guy has tools. And he does a tremendous job in performing. He really does. He kept his distance. He stayed primed and ready to counter whatever Gilberto was doing and looked to counter with more than just a single shot. So Ramirez never had a chance to get timing down because he was worried about incoming. Psychological pressure. So earlier when Rojai said that he was the frustration, it was 1000% correct. He's got to go home and look in the mirror now, knowing that he took an ass whooping that nobody saw coming. There were people here, like when I put the poll up in last night's Friday night chop session, that felt that Bivol was going to win by decision. And congratulations to you. But nobody thought he was going to take this guy apart like that. Even I didn't think it would be like that. But then again, we just didn't know about Ramirez. Because he's fought a lot of guys, beating up a lot of dudes that weren't the most challenging. Now I'm of the belief that had he fought Canelo, maybe Canelo might have had some success against him. From a mental standpoint. So yes, sir, indeed, salute to Dimitri Bivol on his performance tonight. Man, I'm gonna watch that fight again. Great boxing clinic. Stayed off the ropes, kept the fight in the center of the ring, punched in combinations, advanced, put his opponent on the back foot. Check, 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 check. Right down the line. On another note, for the sadness I had for today's event, Chantel Cameron's victory over Jessica McCaskill. What the hell was that, Jessica McCaskill? You disappointed me personally in so many ways that I actually feel sad. You performed like an amateur person that did not have one iota understanding about the sweet science. It looked like your first time in the ring. Winging shots, throwing stuff off balance. Your legs were all crossed up. I thought you were going to tear an ACL in there with the wild shit that you brought to the ring. And who the hell is her trainers? When I put my video together talking about these two women, I spoke about this woman being crafty, meaning Chantel Cameron. I talked about her having an aggressor's disposition with pop on her punches. She throws straight shots. And I said that if she was able to withstand any strength and power, because McCaskill has some strength, not necessarily power, but there's they are two different things, strength and power. And it looked like McCaskill was trying to be bullying, which is never good against somebody who can box. You'll get your head picked off every freaking time. Ask Mike Tyson when he ran into Buster Douglas and Evander Holyfield and Lennox Lewis and everybody else he lost to. I have no idea what was on that woman's mind. If she wants to use the excuse that the headbutt that put that Hassim Rahman Sr. like knot on her head as an excuse that she blacked out and she just was fighting on instinct, I might buy it. Outside of that, you stank up the joint like everybody in there had a bowl of chitlins in their hand. It was foul. And somebody needs to say it. You're as pretty as they come. But your skill set that you put on display tonight was atrocious and unbecoming of a world-class fighter. It was ridiculous. She scored a couple of rounds late, meaning McCaskill. Rounds 10 and 9. And do you know why she won those rounds on my scorecard? Because finally, she threw a few straight punches her damn self. But all that other whirlwind of activity that she did, listen, she hasn't always fought like that. She is sometimes very unorthodox. I give her that, yes. But you could not have possibly sold me on her performing like this and winning. No, absolutely no way. But there is something to be said here, and I'm going to put it out there. I heard she be hating on Clarissa. Yeah. And if that be true at all, I don't know. I need verification, but I've heard this. Just like the folks that's hating on Wilder. When God has anointed you to do something and be someone special, it don't matter what who says or who does. The victory is yours. Clarissa is the GOAT. 3-time undisputed champion of the world. Twice at middleweight. McCaskill had boasted just this week that she wanted, because this was not welterweight where her undisputed titles are, which should immediately be vacated. With that kind of performance, who the hell wants to see her? And I'm serious. But she had boasted as early as this week that she was dropping down to fight this super lightweight champion for undisputed title, wanted to win that from her, and then go up to 154 and challenge Terry Harper. In other words, she was trying to emulate Clarissa and her success of being a multi-division champion. However, when she spoke that, I did notice that she didn't mention Clarissa's name. She said, like the other champion. That's hate. That's hate. And I just got to be honest with you, Caskilla. You sealed your own fate with that stupid ass female hate. Even Savannah Marshall, in defeat, acknowledged that Clarissa is the GOAT. Yeah. Yeah. So, I'm appalled. I've had fighters in the Golden Gloves tournament here in Chicago that performed better than her tonight. That looked like they had some semblance of boxing knowledge, technique, and ability. She looked like she was fighting on 47th Street in the alley. And the headbutt was her fault. You have to say it for what it truly is. It was despicable. It was one of the worst performances that I have seen professionally, men or women. And there have been some horrible women matches. I go all the way back to the Christy Martin days when her fights were being broadcast on Don King undercards. And some of the ladies that Layla Ali faced, Ann Wolfe, Lucia Riker, Mia St. John. McCaskill wouldn't have beat any of those women that I just named. fighting like she fought tonight. No way in hell. And I am not going to be on this airway making excuses and speaking just because she's from the Chi. To hell with that. Despicable. She looked like a savage in there. Totally uncivilized from a boxing standpoint. How the hell did she beat Cecilia Brækhus twice? Votes Luke UK out there is asking, just an off night Stormy B man, or has she showed her 39 years of age overnight? That was something going in when I talked about the fight. I said Father Time is undefeated. If you saw my video, I mentioned that. But I also mentioned that I was pulling for her. But I talked about the threat of this woman being technically proficient. Enough to the degree that she could have some problems. I spoke with Scrapbook Boxing earlier today. And Scrapbook, if he's out there or if he comes in, he'll tell you. Stormy said that this woman can box. And guess what, people? They could have fought a couple of years ago. But Cameron's people didn't feel that they wanted to take the fight at that time. Well, flash forward to now, McCaskill's name was better and bigger even from a couple of years ago, and she was the undisputed welterweight champion, trying to go for all the marbles with her on this night for super lightweight undisputed. So she cashed in big time. Salute to Chantel Cameron, a real fighter in the sport, just like Baumgardner, Shields, Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano. Yeah. I was not pleased with McCaskill's performance, and age, Votes UK, was not the factor tonight. It was capability and ability. 1000%. She wasn't even winded after the fight or worn down or anything. She just fought like a person who had lost all sense of technical ability and was just out there winning. You had to see. Did you see the fight, Votes UK? Age had nothing to do with the way she performed. You heard me say earlier in this comment, I felt like she was going to tear an ACL. The way she was winging and spinning around, she was actually doing 360s, missing shots. Something out of a damn cartoon. Who the hell endorses that? I would have given her 2 rounds of that foolishness, and I would have told her, look, you get back on some technical stuff over here, or I swear to God, when you come back at the end of the next round, I ain't gonna be here for this bullshit. And we know you can jab. We know you can throw straight punches. We know you can work the body. We know you can throw combinations. You out there looking like you trying to swat flies and mosquitoes away from around a woman's head. refusing to put your hands up to block punches, refusing to put your hands up to have a guard at all. The woman couldn't miss. You left the damn door wide open. And I hope this critique gets back to her, because she needs to hear somebody tell the truth about her shitty performance tonight. From someone who was giving her on my channel all kinds of love and endorsement. But you stunk the damn joint up. And I'm embarrassed. What the hell was that? You damn right, Diana. Cameron was a fighter tonight. She was a boxer. McCaskill didn't intimidate her. She kept sticking them damn punches in her craw. And when McCaskill got rough and tumble in there, she was hitting her in the back of the head, even though it's illegal, and the ref was letting it happen. And at first I was like, oh, she getting away with these. But now I'm looking at McCaskill's performance. I'm like, hit her again. I've never seen a professional fighter look like that at that level of the fight game. You can see that in a bar fight or a tough man contest. Don't nobody say nothing after tonight. Don't say nothing to me about Jessica McCaskill. Okay? We broke up. I ain't supporting that shit no more. Cause that's what that was. That was shit. Matt 2377 out there in that super chat saying, I'm busted over laughing. 1,000 right, Stormy. Man, I'm always going to give you the real deal schmeal when you're over here. You might not even like some of the things that I say about your fighters. But I ain't kissing nobody's ass. And I ain't putting no powder or Pampers on nobody. It's big boy draws over here. No, Diana, I would say get knocked out would be better than to get a victory out of a performance like that. I could think of several female fighters out there that will whoop her ass. And if she's gonna fight like that again, she may as well stay the hell away from the sport. Because women fighters are becoming classic now. They're raising the skill level, they're raising the competitive nature, their technique. The sport is going in a different direction. And just maybe McCaskill has had her day in the sun and it's over. And like I said, it had zip to do with being old, which is something that I was, it's in the back of my mind going into the fight. She's, 38 years old. I'm like, Father Time. But no, she was in great shape. You could see. Even when the fight was over, her condition, she was in good shape. She just fought like somebody who didn't have a clue of how to fight. What was that, people? I'm still asking that question. Was that a damn clone or something? What the hell was that? In the first round, she came out and she performed like someone who was trying to send a message. I'm rough, I'm bad, I'm coming for you. But at some point, you gotta settle into the fight, get into a rhythm, shoot them jabs and work some combinations, give some angles and stuff like this. You can't just go in there like, I'm coming for you. What the hell was that? I'm still asking. Did she freaking train like that for weeks? Who the hell are her trainers, man? Bind their asses up, tape their mouths shut, and drop them off into the desert over there somewhere. Don't bring them back here. Diana, I said, if that's the excuse she wanted to roll with, she'd be fine to do so. Because that's the only excuse I could give her. Because she did have a Hasim Rockman Sr. like knot on her head from the headbutt. But guess what too, Diana? She caused the damn headbutt. Running in there like a ram in the forest or some shit. Dude, it's freaking ridiculous. Unbelievable, man. Totally unbelievable that that woman would go out there and perform like that. Yeah, Bodymore Murderland. She looked far worse than an amateur. Far worse. I have never seen a pro look like that. That was, woo. You know what she looked like? She looked like one of them people that you get out of the audience or somewhere, like we say, some of these guys that's been, and ladies that have been lined up to be opponents in boxing matches. That's what she looked like. Did she look like a world-class champion to you? Hell no. There's a commercial break. Putting the commercial breaks in here, and I want to play this one from my brother Focus Ball.
Get ready to take your striking game to the next level with the focus ball. Dramatically improved footwork, timing, head movement, hand-eye coordination, reflex, and overall fight IQ. It's lightweight and extremely portable, so you can train every time, everywhere. When you don't have a coach to do mitt work, get a focus ball. When you don't have a heavy bag to hit, get a focus ball. When you don't have a sparring partner, get yourself a focus ball. And when you just want to have fun punching and kicking, get a focus ball. When you train with the focus ball, you train your eyes and your brain to read punches so that you can hit and not get hit, making this very simple device.
Yeah, thank you, Focus Ball. I appreciate you, man. Had to get that in there. But listen, I'm not going to keep you guys all night. We got another card coming up on Showtime, okay? And David Morrell is going to be taking on that gentleman, Ados, yes, Bussy Noli. I can't say the guy's name, but apparently he's a pretty darn good fighter out here, and that's worth tuning into. You know, we're gonna see that, and KQ's gonna call that as well. And I'll be back later with another post fight after that fight is over. But somebody please let me know what happened with that performance by McCaskill, because I am just totally dumbfounded with that. Totally dumbfounded. That was crazy. That was crazy. Yeah, William, I have no idea, man. That just, it threw me for a loop. I'm actually sitting up there watching this, and I'm like, I'm totally like, it felt like the Twilight Zone or something. It's like, this has got to be a joke, right? Unless she was on the take. That's the one thing I would hate to even touch. But you know what? With a performance like that, it wouldn't be far-fetched. It would not be far-fetched. But I'm going to get on up out of here, people. We'll catch you a little later on the second post fight for the Morrell fight. That'll be broadcast on Showtime. It's coming up like at, I want to say 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Pacific. So we're going to get out of here. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for those who came in and smashed my like button, the family. We'll catch you guys on the second show of the evening. Peace to everybody out there. Remain safe. Shout out to the mighty LDBC, and we gone.